Okay, in this mini lecture, which will be very short, but I actually want to show you a shortcut routine to do the difference of means test when you have, let's say, just the descriptive statistics available and you don't actually have the full set of data. So let's say in this instance, rather than me providing you this full set of data, okay, rather than me providing you this full set of data, what if I just said the mean improvement was 1.3 points, the standard deviation was 11.17, and the sample size was 10, okay? You could calculate the critical t-value, you could calculate the observed t-value by hand and look the critical t-value up on page 377 in the text. However, when you only have summary descriptive statistics, MegaStat offers an easy way to run that routine, and that is you just go up to add-ins and you click on MegaStat. You drag down to hypothesis tests. And in this instance here, I should have clarified, I'm working with an observed mean and an hypothesized value. So we'll click on mean versus hypothesized value. Now, most of the time, let me clear this out first. So most of the time, when you go into MegaStat, and up until this point, every example I've used, I've actually ignored these top two boxes, but it's always on data input, I think by default. In this instance, what I'm going to do is click the little box for summary input, and you notice here it says select a range with label, mean, standard deviation, and n. S period, D period stands for standard deviation, and n. So notice, if I can drag over here, okay, notice that I have my label for improvement, I have my mean of 1.3, I have my standard deviation of 11.7, and my sample size of 10. So in this little summary box here, I have everything that we need for this range of the label, the mean, the standard deviation, and the sample size. So I've highlighted that. Let me do this once again. I'm going to clear this out, okay? And I'm going to click on summary input, and then I'm going to highlight this box right here, okay? My hypothesized mean is 0. In other words, I'm hypothesizing 0 improvement. I'll work with a two-tail alternative at this point, t-test, and I'll work with 95% confidence interval, and I'll ask for the lower and upper bounds of our 95% confidence interval. So now I click on OK. And I apparently made, oh, I know what mistake I made. I input the wrong range here. So let me clear this out and correct myself. Okay, I click on summary input. It only asks for the column header, the label improvement, and the number for the mean, the number for the standard deviation, the number for sample size. It did not ask for the descriptive statistics labels as well. And earlier I had highlighted the labels as well. So only highlight this column of data right here, and then our hypothesized difference is 0 still. We'll ask for the upper and lower bounds. And now if we click on OK, we see here our t-value of 0.368 and our p-value of 0.724. That should be identical to what we just previously ran, subject to very minor differences because of rounding errors. And let me get rid of these rows here to snug things up a little bit. And what you see here is our observed p-value is 0.368, identical to running the difference of means test in summary data mode. Our observed p-value was 0.7213. Here we have 0.7214. That's simply a rounding error. And you'll find if you inspect these specific numbers here, regarding the lower and upper bounds and the margin of error. Any difference between running it in summary statistics mode and in data mode, any difference there is only attributable to a rounding error, because probably the standard deviation that I put in is slightly different because I dropped off after 2 places to the right of the decimal. So what you'll see here is that regardless, let me just bring the MegaStat difference of means test back up. Regardless of whether we use the actual data via the data input mode or whether we input our data in summary input mode, again, which would be this data right here, the mean, the standard deviation, the sample size, as well as the column header, regardless of whether we work with our summary data mode over here or the actual data itself over here, regardless, we get the same observed t-value, we get the same observed p-value, and we get the same upper and lower bounds of our confidence interval as well as the margin of error. This portion of our output should be exactly the same whether we use data input mode or summary input mode for the difference of means test. Thank you.